After all the effort you put towards job hunting, please and please don't mess it up by not prepping for your interview. Hi, my name is Obinna, and today we will be talking about what happens after they call you for interview. Now, in my last two videos, I spoke about what to do to get your resumes in front of the right people. I didn't even realize that people still needed this kind of information. But yeah, we are having this conversation. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. Number one, show up early. Now, this one is commonsensical, but you'd be surprised how people don't show up early because of, I don't want to call it recklessness. Now, if you have an interview, especially if it is an online interview, if it's remote, please test your devices at least 30 minutes before your interview time. I've seen people lose opportunities. They painted bad impression of themselves because they struggled for 5 to 10 minutes to update the settings of the tools being used for interview. Tell me why on earth would you sign into Zoom, for instance, at the time of the interview and then realize that it needs to be updated before it can work. And then you spend 5 minutes updating and then the person interviewing you is waiting and wondering if you will show up. That's terrible. So ensure that your devices are up to date and are working properly before the time for the interview. And if your interview is in person, please be there at least 15 minutes early. You don't want to arrive there just at that time. You're still trying to figure out which room it will be holding, and then you're out of breath and you are just, not in the right mind space for an interview. Don't do that to yourself. Number two, be confident. People can sense when you're nervous. If you seem shy and your eyes are darting everywhere and you seem uncomfortable, you can't look people in the eye, you can't carry on a decent conversation, I'm sorry, you might not be able to get a job. Now I know that all of us are dealing with some level of introvert nature or the other. Personally, I am an introvert. Yes, I am a big introvert. I don't even know how I even summoned the courage to speak to you guys on the internet. But you have to prep such that you set aside your fear and focus on what you are there to do. Be confident. People want confident people. Now, confidence is not arrogance. I do not say you should go there and be priding, for lack of a better word. Be confident. People want people who can look them in the eye, express themselves, have this. I don't know how to explain it, but when you walk into a room or once you show up on camera, people want to know that you can take charge of your interview. For them to have called you, they saw something in your CV that made them want to go a step further. Prove them right. Show up confidently. Next, as soon as you show up for that interview, I want you to establish likability. The truth is, people will only work with people they like. Whatever you have to do, read the room, understand the person's personality, understand what is going on. Okay, even before you even show up for this interview, I need you, if you know the name of the person that will be interviewing you, research that person, research the person's role. If you can even find any information about the person's hobbies or anything, as in, you are going to turn to Dora the Explorer. You are going to find out everything possible. And as soon as you get there, you find a way to establish likability. I'll give an example. A friend of mine showed up for an interview, and it was an online interview, and the person interviewing her had like plants, so many plants in her background. Thankfully for my friend, she recognized one of those plants. She's not really a plant person, but you know these popular plants that you see about like snake plants, spider, and like there are a couple of very common ones. And she was like, "Oh my God, you've got some snake plants. I've got some at home too. I'm a plant mom." My friend is not a plant mom, Coco. She has two like aesthetic plastic but realistic looking snake plants. But she just said, "Oh God, oh my God, I'm a plant mom as well." Guess what? They start to talk about plants. In the interviewer was doing more of the talking than my friend, and my friend was just, concurring. Guess who got the job? My friend. Because she found something that they had in common and can relate to, you will be surprised how establishing likability one way or the other can go a long way. For some others, it is talking about kids. For some others, it's just something as simple as, how was your day? Maybe you see the person is looking tired and be like, oh my God, it looks like you had a long day. That could just be the icebreaker that will get your foot in the door. Don't take this for granted, as ridiculous as it sounds. Next, this one is even before you show up for the interview. I need you to prep for every interview like your life depends on it. I know I had mentioned that you need to look up whoever is interviewing you, understand their strengths and weaknesses, their skill set, everything. But you also have to, prepare for the role you're being interviewed for. Like I've seen people forget, because you're applying to several jobs, hundreds of them at the same time, right? And they don't keep track of the jobs they're applying for. Just tell me, why will somebody go for an interview and forget the name of the role they're interviewing for? They call you and you're like, I don't know. Ah, don't do that though. You have to at least know the role you are interviewing for and be able to speak to it. And one very important question that people always mess up is, tell me about yourself. Now you have just a few minutes to make the person that is before you to know that you know what you're saying and you know what you're doing. I didn't prep for this, but I will, just talk very briefly about how I would answer a tell me about yourself question. For example, this is me role playing. Hi, Ogochukwu. Thank you for taking the time to come for this interview. Without, wasting much time, can you tell me about yourself? Sure, I can. So my name is Ogochukwu Obinna. I am a content creator and content strategist. At my current role with XYZ company, I develop AI prompts to aid our customer and supplier efficiency. So what I do is, with my understanding of the industry on how to relate with suppliers and customers, I'm able to break down pertinent questions to improve our workflows and reduce the time it takes to close deals on the client side, as well as improve workflows on the supplier onboarding side. Wow, you do a lot in your day. Can you tell me more about your role prior to this one? Sure. Prior to this, I used to be a marketing strategist with ABC Company. There, I was in charge of developing campaigns for our clothing brand and accessories. And with my marketing campaign, I was able to single-handedly increase the sales of the company by 27%. But you see this question, you have to prep for it. When I was job hunting, at least the last time I was job hunting, what I did was I wrote down a script of what I wanted to say. I practiced the script in front of the mirror. I practiced the script in front of my daughter. At the time, it was just one daughter. So, and of course, she couldn't talk back. So I would sit down in front of my toddler and just talk and talk and talk. And all she did was laugh. But for me, that was practicing with a person. And then I started to reduce. I noticed that I used to talk about myself for almost 7 minutes. And then I crunched the time and crunched it and crunched it until it came down to just around 3 minutes. You have to, respect the other person's time, and not just that, keep it as simple as possible so that you don't seem like you came to brag about all your achievements in life instead of focusing on what is in front of everybody for the day. Don't do that. In this tell me about yourself, you are talking about the skills you have. You can even chip in how you use most recent trends in the industry in your daily work, the tools that you use in your day to day, and even talk about what your day in the life of somebody in your role looks like. I mean, if you can do this and keep it within a reasonable time, even the interviewer will be impressed. So prep for this particular question. It can make or break you. Next, interviews are a conversation, and conversations are two-way. Don't go to interviews and be doing, yes, ma, yes, sir. We don't do that here. And please, all those mas and sirs, please drop them in Nigeria. Those things don't apply here. And I know that this is a cultural shift. In Nigeria, they want you to be respectful. They want you to maybe occasionally, keep your eye down or something. Here, you have to look whoever is interviewing you in the eyes and carry on a conversation. It's two ways. They're asking you questions. You might interrupt from time to time, ask your own questions, give answers. It's both ways. You're in front of the person because they think that you're worth having a conversation with. Don't go there and only, speak when you are spoken to and just be answering yes, yes, yes. It doesn't work. Oh. They will just see you like someone that doesn't know how to apply herself, or is not intelligent enough to carry on a decent conversation, or is not knowledgeable about what is going on in your space. We don't want to appear that way. Please, it is a two-way conversation. Okay? Next, while carrying on this conversation, I want you to avoid sensitive topics. Now, if you've gotten this person to relax, they can see your confidence, the conversation is going well, and maybe occasionally it might drift away from the interview. Please be careful. There are some things in the West that you cannot discuss. Don't over relax and now bring up things like religion, things like, gender, things like football, and there are some topics that are out of bound. Don't go and over relax and mess things up. Stick to respectful, general conversations and don't ruin things for yourself. As much as possible, avoid sensitive topics. Next, I want you to have questions ready. Remember that I said it's a conversation, right? You don't have to wait till the end of the interview for them to ask you, do you have any questions? Before you not be like, oh, I think I wrote down a couple of questions. Let me see. During the interview, you're asking questions, they are asking questions because you really want to know if this company is a right fit for you. You want to understand things about them the same way they want to understand things about you. So have your questions ready. Intelligent questions. Don't go and copy general questions off of the internet without them thinking about them. Now, there are a lot of questions out there that a lot of people have used in their interviews, and even um, interviewers expect to hear them. Make yours as unique as possible. Ask questions probably pertaining to the role, pertaining to the day in the life of the person even interviewing you, about the team. Just make your question as unique as possible. Let it look like you put some thought into it. Okay? Have questions, good questions, at least three of them. Depending on what stage of the interview it is, whether it's stage one, stage two, or stage three, whatever it is, um, try to offer a solution to whatever problem is hinted at the interview. Now, this might not happen at the first stage of your interview. So the job that I currently do, I did like four stages of interview, and the first one was basically like HR kind of interview. And the second stage was now interview with the recruiting manager, and and then the next stage was like I had like four whole interviews, right? And for each stage, you have to prep appropriately. But if you are at the stage where you're speaking with the person who is recruiting you, or um, the person who has a better understanding of your day to day, if they hint at any problem, you can even offer to send them PowerPoint presentation on how to solve a particular problem, or just something to show that you know what you're saying and what you're doing. And I know that this one looks like you are doing over sabi, but I know of someone it has helped. This lady always goes prepared for interviews, such that if they mention anything that they're currently struggling with in the team, she'll be like, oh, I actually know about that. I can send you a PowerPoint presentation um, on how to resolve this particular problem. A lot of the time, they don't typically hear this, right? And they'll be surprised. And guess what? Even if they weren't considering you before, the fact that they see your willingness to solve a problem that they have bumps you up their list. And you will most likely be selected for this role, because they see that you're a team player, you're willing to help, you're willing to take up responsibilities, even if it is not your own. They see that you know what you want and you're going for it by all means. So this might be what will get you your job. Try it if you can. And lastly, I want you to have unshakable faith that the job is yours. That is, if it's the place you really want to work at. And I've not shared this with a lot of people, but I'll give you a very, very funny example. So, when I was job hunting, I was, of course, interviewing with several companies, but none of them really felt like home. So, I first interviewed with one, and then I read the reviews about that company. And most of the reviews I saw was, these people have high attrition rates. They are not very nice to their staff. They are not. I saw a lot of bad things, so my mind left there. So I continued interviewing and interviewing until I stumbled on this company. I applied to them one random Sunday night when I was just tired and like, let me just put in one more application. I applied. Very next day, they called me for an interview, and the HR person that interviewed me was so bubbly, so happy. And I looked up the company, and you know what I said? Because of this woman's attitude and the joy I felt radiating through her, I just told myself, this company must be really nice. I want to work here. Do you know what I did? Right after that interview, took, I went online and I bought a jotter that is the color of that company. And every day as I work, I would look at the jotter on the table and tell myself, this is my company. I look forward to resuming work. That was crazy. And same day after that interview, they invited me for the next stage. And while I was waiting for the next stage, I would look at my jotter and thank God for the job that I have gotten. My brothers, my sisters have not gotten any job. Anyway, fast forward to my fourth interview. No, my second interview was even crazy. So my daughter was home during my second interview and woke up crying. Like I literally did that second interview with my daughter. Well, at some point I had to go drop her with my neighbors, but that girl messed up the interview. I don't even know how my manager said, it's okay, these things happen, we're remote workers. There are days when kids will be home. Guess what? I moved on to the third stage. The third stage, that was a very technical interview. I prepped for it based on all the information I found out about the guy. And that one went well. The fourth stage, I finished this interview. And you know what I did? Then I wasn't earning very well. So I couldn't go to a fancy restaurant to have steak. So I ordered in pork ribs. I made pork ribs and coleslaw and all sorts of things. I had a feast to thank God that I have gotten a job before I got this job. The following week, they came back to me with a job offer. So if you think that something aligns with you and this is where you want, I know it is crazy and this might not work for everyone and it's absolutely fine, but I had unshakable faith that this was the company that I will work with. And several months down the line, I even found out that somebody I know was even interviewing for the same job. And at the end of the day, it was between me and her. And I know this lady, she's very knowledgeable, she is smart. As in, if I was even the recruiter, I would have chosen her. I would have chosen her over myself. And I got the job instead of her. And when I resumed, I even asked my manager, why me? Why did you choose me? And she said, excuse my language, but I can't work with bitches. And I'm like, woof. So apparently she may have sensed some form of arrogance from this other lady. She didn't strike me as arrogant, but I don't know. All I can tell you is everything worked in my favor and I don't take it for granted. God was really faithful. So if you are going out there and job hunting, I want you to believe that what is for you will come to you. I know it's hard. I know it can be depressing, but I want you to keep a positive mindset. Okay? I'm really rooting for you and I wish you all the best. If you want me to help you with interview preps, I can help the first two people that will reach out to me for help through the comments. If you don't reach out to me on time, then you might have to pay a small token for me to prep you for interviews. I will be leaving a link in the description where you can reach out to me. Now, so that you are not I should have mentioned this in the other videos, but I will also be linking all the tips I gave on job hunting and then prepping for interviews in a PDF file. I will leave that in the comments. If you want that as well, please download it. And if what I have shared with you today helped in any way, please comment success in the comments so that I know that you are going to put these steps into practice. And please don't forget to like this video when you watch. It helps the algorithm to show my videos to other people. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video where I will be moving away from this topic and then moving to helping you guys that are interested in coming online, those of you who don't have online presence but want to, come online in the year 2025, my next video is for you. Whether you're coming online because you want to create a brand, put your business on the internet and all of that good stuff, whatever it is, I'm here for you. Now, we're here in this community because we want to help each other grow. And for me, it doesn't matter if you have to start from a 9 to 5 and then progress to where you want to be, or you want to start a business. We're all women, we want to grow. So, and I'm here for you. I will see you guys in the next video. In the meantime, remain blessed. All right, take care. Bye.